Welcome to the Indie Style with Leah DeVon Show, where we celebrate successful, independent entrepreneurs in music business and entertainment. Get ready to meet indie entrepreneurs across the globe who are winning in their industry. I'm Leah DeVon, and this is Indie Style.
Hello, and welcome to Indie Style. I am your host, Leah DeVon. We have a wonderful show planned for you today. Today, you're going to meet Muhktar Raqib. He is an educational technologist, financial planner, and licensed insurance agent in North Georgia, North Carolina, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Washington, D.C. He's kind of showing off, I tell you. He earned his Bachelor's of Science, cum laude, from North Carolina Central University. And today we're going to be kind of talking about KG Financial Group, where he is currently working, and learn about better ways to manage your money. So everybody, welcome Mukhtar to the show. Thank
you, Leah. Thank you for having me.
Did you enjoy that intro?
I enjoyed that intro. That was good. It was exciting.
Yeah, look at you. I learn, of course, a lot about my guests, but you were archivist for CNN?
Archivist.
Mm-hmm. Headquartered in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. You worked for CNN Tonight and Don Lemon. You've done a lot. Worked in the DC public schools. You were a master media specialist.
Yes.
I love that. Like, how many, I'm saying, usually just see the ladies, I love that you did that. You were like all over the place.
Yeah.
Worked in Ghana. I'm reading this because it was too long to read it before I brought you on. So this is
That's fine. That's fine.
What? But
try to keep it to one page. I mean, that was
oh my Lord,
trust me.
Traveled and we're gonna get to interview. Traveled. This is I like the community service aspect. Traveled internationally to southern Mexico and Ghana, and taught in public schools. I'm giving you a heart and gold star.
Thank you.
Yes,
that.
That's
Thank
awesome. That's wonderful. See, that is why I knew. Okay. Let's get into it. Okay, so tell everybody about, before I ask your question, it's so interesting because you hear kids, even kids saying, is money tight? Is the economy bad? Because they talk about it in school, they hear their parents talking about it. How did you even get into your business as a client advisor? Tell everybody what you do. What is it you do?
Well, what we do as with KG Financial, we focus in 3 areas. So the first area that we focus on is risk management, which is protecting your income and your assets, making sure that no matter what happens to you, you are properly compensated, and anything that you build in terms of assets are protected. Mm-hmm. So that's the first area that we focus in. The second area is wealth accumulation, which is investing, whether you want to invest in real estate, stocks, mutual funds, retirement accounts, anything that basically has your money work for you, right? The last area that we focus in is wealth distribution and preservation. That's making sure when you get to retirement, you don't outlive your income, causing you to go back to work, and then making sure that you create a legacy where your money goes from generation to generation. So that's the main areas that we focus in with KG Financial. How I got into it was, it was kind of just by chance. My financial advisor is the reason why I got into it. It was like right before the pandemic. He would just, after we would have meetings and stuff, he said, Mukhtar, I think that you'll be really good at what I do. And he's not the type to really recruit a whole lot of people into finance. Normally you have these, different organizations that just like to recruit. He's not like that at all. So when he started talking to me about it, I really took heed to what he was telling me. And then eventually, so as he started to really get into the details of it, I was like, you know what? Yes, I should be doing this. You're exactly right. And what stood out to me was that generational wealth piece, right? That financial literacy piece, and really serving that to our community. Because unfortunately, we're the number one consumers in the world. I mean, there's no way to put it. We're the number one consumers in the world. And then that also speaks to the percentage of Black financial advisors they're under 2% Black financial advisors.
I'm not surprised.
Right. So once I really started to understand what was going on, I said, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This really has my attention. And I think that my trajectory in my career, going from a DC public school to working at CNN to then becoming an entrepreneur, I feel like making that route and then eventually getting to being a financial advisor actually prepared me better, because now I understand people no matter where they are. If they're an entrepreneur, I know what you got going on. You work in government, I understand that. If you're working in corporate, I also understand that. So it's like having that previous experience actually prepared me very well for my current role.
Yeah, I know, and it's very prevalent in terms of so many. Even our youth. I'll take it to the extreme. Oftentimes, you're told, and you want your kids to go to college to get a good education. And it's quite interesting that, the word entrepreneur is becoming more prevalent, and by all means, I think you should get an education to absolutely be the very best of whatever it is you choose to do if you open your own business. But it is becoming more about, how can I manage my finances? How do I have a nest egg to start what it is I'm passionate about? So it sounds like you are that person who could help somebody who's trying to figure out how to navigate that. Am I right? And how to
definitely.
Okay. I love that when you said the entrepreneurs, because of course that's what my show focuses on, entrepreneurs. And just so many people leave corporate America. And they have their 401k, which it's so interesting, money that belongs to you, but yet if you touch it, you're in trouble and you're penalized. I've never, that system of understanding what you really can do with your money. It sounds like you can tell people things that they can do with their money that they may not absolutely know. Because
money doesn't have to stay stuck in one area, and just speaking to the point where you talked about the kids, I think that I can agree with you 1,000%. My generation and like right before, we were the ones who got pushed to college, right? College. Success was built on college. That's what we were told. So all of us went there thinking those same things. And even some of our peers that didn't go were looking at us like we were more successful, because we went to college. But it turns out that wasn't accurate, right? A lot of us incurred a lot of debt because of college. And then we also learned that actually having a trade could have actually been better than going to college in some cases. Or again, if you're an entrepreneur, how do you take those steps? Like, how do you fund the idea of your child that has an idea, they want to create something, and that might be a great business idea, but if you didn't properly prepare for that moment, then you won't be able to help nourish that idea to where it can actually, become wealth for your family, something that's really long lasting. So that's why I say I feel like my mission is pretty much to help as many of my people as possible achieve generational wealth.
I love that. And that is important. It's important.
That's it. Even if you see me, you can talk to me. You can talk to. My thing is talk to a financial advisor, no matter who it is.
Well, we want to talk to you. You're the star of our show today. So when we leave this show, we want people to know that they can reach out to you, that you have time for them, which you will make time, and that you will take them on as a client and impart, answer any questions that they have. You know what I mean? Because I think oftentimes people feel like, I know what I'm doing. I got this. I have this and I have that. And, you are very good, at what you do. And I want our viewers to really take advantage, to know if you reach out, he will call you back.
Yes.
And he will make time for you. And it's interesting, the things you don't know, again, like in terms of, let's talk a little bit about retirement. Like you were saying, people work hard. And then it's like you retire and you're supposed to be like, and there are still people that are retired that are still going back to work to go on vacation or going back to work to, you know what I mean? I'm like, this is not.
Yeah, wow.
So what do you do how do you help people understand that facet of their life once they retire? If they come to you and they're like, okay, I've retired, how do you help them?
So the key to retirement, I think, what happens is a lot of us are not connected to our older self, right? So when we think of retirement, we see it as, it's 20, 30 years down the line. I have plenty of time to get to it. But in actuality, the reality is we are currently paying ourselves in retirement. So if you're not investing in the right areas right now, you are not taking care of yourself in retirement. So do you remember that time when through the internet when we would take a picture of ourselves, upload it, and then they make us this older version of ourselves, like the senior version of ourselves? Do you remember that?
I refused to do that.
Yeah, so everybody was doing it, right? So there was a study that came out around that same time that talked about the importance of us connecting to our older selves. And if we are connected to our older selves, we're actually better savers and budgeters now. Right?
You're visualizing it too.
We're visualizing it. So a lot of times when I work with my clients, what I do is I say, I want you to close your eyes. And what age do you want to retire? They tell me they age 65, 60. Some say 45, right? They want to retire ASAP. So what I do is I say, close your eyes and imagine yourself at that age, right? I want you to see yourself full vision at that age. Now, what is he or she telling you about what you're doing for them in retirement? So once they close their eyes and they make that connection, what are you hearing from yourself? And sometimes, they say, well, she's telling me to get my act together because we out here on the street. Like, it really is like that, but making that connection, I feel like is very, very crucial. And you got to think about it. A lot of jobs used to provide pensions, for the baby boomers. A lot of them that were able to get pensions and things. But because of how long we're living now, the companies and governments are not able to afford a pension. So we are responsible for how we're going to be living in retirement. I don't think that Social Security is enough because it's not. Or having one retirement account is enough. It's not. With inflation and everything else that we have going on, it's really important that you strategize with an advisor like myself who can help show you all of the different details of how to, establish a solid plan. And it is pretty intricate. I'm not going to lie and say it's like the easiest thing to do because it's not. But if you have the right advisor, they will take the time to really explain and break things down for you. So it's easier to digest than just getting a bunch of information thrown at you at one time.
Yeah. So, and again, you look like you know what you're doing. And I know for a fact, Mr. Cum Laude, I know that it's scary, you know what I'm saying? And I think people often think that the process is going to be difficult to understand what to do, or they may not feel that they have enough to come to get advice. What do you say to people who are like, oh, I'm in debt over my heads. I'm embarrassed. I don't want to come talk. What would you tell those people? Is there, or, just in general? And like I said, right now, we're in a, when I was trying to explain just even to my kid, because they talk about it in school in their, health class about the tight economy. And I'm like, okay, well, Cheerios used to be $2.99, now $5.99. That's a tight, just trying. It affects everybody. I don't care if you have a lot or if you don't, or just, do you know what I'm saying? So how can a person, like I said, and everybody is in different walks of their lives financially, just getting out of college or changing careers, is it okay to come and do you strategize if they don't have a nest egg, if they kind of are in debt? Do you still sit down and maybe try to help guide them as to what to do?
Yes. Yeah. I think that's a very great question that you asked. And I think that does hold a lot of people back. So I know at our firm, more particularly, we meet people where they are, right? So our strategy could begin from just basic saving and budgeting and having an actual financial strategy to where how much you save every month, how much you use to pay off your debt, and then how much you use cater to your lifestyle, right? So we provide plans really depending on where the client is, because no one client is the same. But I think it's very important that, you have to take the power back into your hands and take it out of the money. Because right now, the more you wait or the more you're scared, then you won't really get the help that you need. And if you are in debt and you are facing a lot of challenges, I think that's the best time to speak to a financial advisor. I mean, that's probably the reason why you're in that situation, is because you've never actually strategized with the financial advisor.
Okay.
So a lot of times sometimes clients will say, hey, I'm not ready. I got to take care of this and that and A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then eventually they never get to it. Right. So it's just something that they just keep kicking. They keep kicking the can down the road. And then they never get to this important piece of having the tough conversation. I don't think there's any other way to put it. You have to have the tough conversation. It's just like, if you were having problems on a more, trauma-based kind of situation, you need to speak to a therapist, right? If you want to help navigate and get yourself out of the situation, you're not just going to be able to do it on your own. You have to do some meditating. You have to do some reading. You have to talk to somebody that can help you to get out of your situation. And so that's why I think it's very important for, people to come and talk. Like, just come talk to us. Meet us where you are. We will meet you where you are and help devise a plan for you. Because a lot of times they also think that it's supposed to happen in one day, or like there's going to be this quick, massive unload of information and you're going to have to do all these things at once. No, a lot of times when we create plans, our plans are 3, 4, 5-year plans, right? There are things that it's going to take time for you to start to implement, especially, for example, if you don't have a saving habit, a budgeting habit, that's the first thing that we have to fix. We can't do any investing. We can't do anything else until you really get that aspect of your life together. I think that's very important, but you have to face it. You cannot run from it. You have to make your spending conscious, right? You have to do things that really put the power back in your hands and takes it out of the money just being this big old mythical creature that you can't control.
That's interesting, because if you think about it, when, the pandemic happened and like most women were like, oh my gosh, who's going to do my hair? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, who's going to do mine? I'm just saying. And
who's going to do my hair?
But you get resourceful. You go on YouTube, you figure it out. And now it's a choice. Like, if I want to go sit in the hair salon for 4 hours, I will do that. If I don't want to, I don't have to do that. And that's smart planning. And in terms of knowing the amount of money we spend on Starbucks or whatever your favorite coffee is, or certain things. And I'm not saying you should not groom yourself or do things to feel good about yourself. But I think what I'm hearing you say is, when people are like, oh, I can't save, there's always some area you can somehow. And so you help people do that. I'm sure you would not shame anybody.
No. Because we all been there. So even I've been there myself, right? So I'm not advising you or something that
100%
area that I haven't been in myself. Like, I've literally been that person. I've been you before, right? So no, I don't shame you at all. We'll laugh about some of the things, but I think it's important that you have to face the music. Like, one of the techniques that I utilize with my clients is I have them to go through their bank statements, and like, we'll go line by line and actually point out where our money is being spent. That's what I call making your spending conscious, right? Because a lot of times we go about life, we spending money, we swiping our cards, we tapping our phones down, tapping our watches. There's so many ways for us to easily spend our money that, a lot of the spending is happening on the impulse. So though you're aware that you're spending it, you're not consciously understanding what you're doing to your finance, if that makes sense, right? So an important tactic is to go line by line and to actually see where you're spending your money, show you exactly what you're doing with your money so that you can't run away from that fact. So now that we've done that, you swallow that pill. I'm sure it was a tough pill to swallow, but then now you're ready, right? So you're more conscious every time you go out and you're like, oh, I don't need that Starbucks coffee this time necessarily. I can still get it once or twice a week, but maybe I need to slow it down and let me still go get the coffee pods, right? I can still go get Starbucks coffee pods, and that will last me a longer time, and I can still kind of satisfy that my craving. You might have to just get a little bit more creative yourself. You can still have these things. It's just in moderation and with respect to your goals, right? Your financial goals. I think it's always important to keep that in mind.
So if, I'm watching the show and I'm like, okay, I want to sit down and, I want to talk to this guy. Like how would I even know how to contact you to talk to you? What would I do?
Well, I'm currently on LinkedIn. So you can search my name at Muhktar Raqib on LinkedIn. Other than that, you can go to kgfinancial.us. I'm on there as well. You'll be able to find me. They can reach out to you. You have my information, right?
You're featured on our website as well. All of our guests that appear will be also, on our website, and this interview will, be on the website for people to see as well at indiestyletv.com. So
then my email is m.raqib@kgfinancial.us. So you can email me directly. Again, it doesn't matter where you are, right? My thing is, let's create a plan, even if you're just in the weeds and you feel like you can't see your way out. I think that's the best time to speak to somebody like me or anybody in my firm.
Because you're the star.
I can't help but to share light.
You're listening or not. You are the star of the show.
I can't help but share the light. We all got to eat together. That's the thing. Like, we really have to eat together. I'll give this one example, right? So in terms of retirement, I have a client. She's a senior. She's about 67 years old, right? She's done really well for herself in terms of real estate. She has a lot of property, and she did some other investments really well. But she had a TSP, and that's like what the federal government, they get TSP, which is the same thing as a 401k. And her TSP was at around like $200 or something thousand. Right? And so, but she also had this friend that she walked with every day. Like, they worked together, they walked every day. I mean, they were really, really good friends, right? And her friend TSP, when the time she got to retirement, was at $2 million. So you see that big gap. And it was because they didn't just share these simple tips with each other. Like, hey, you should be investing. You should be matching what your employer is matching you in your TSP. So those 30, 40 years that you've accumulated with the federal government would have turned into these amount of dollars. And then at the same time, her friend could have said, hey, you should do more investing in real estate. This is what I'm doing, X, Y, Z. So one of my main goals is to make sure that we're starting to have these conversations within our close circle of friends, right? The people we go to the bar with, the people we go to the basketball court with, right? Our kids, their friends, right? Their friends' parents, like, really having these conversations and making more common in our community so that we can begin to pass on this information and, actually grow together.
I'm enjoying that, and I agree. And it's important to know that we can have generational wealth. I always feel like, and you always want it to do well, and you want your children to do better. You want their children, you just want that continuum to just be of success, because of course, as time goes on, more knowledge is imparted in terms of how to do better. But I really, am hoping that our viewers, right, Mikey, will reach out to you, because I know you've even given, Calvin and I some really great, advice regarding our son, Jackson. So and I'm not going to tell you what it is. You have to reach out to him. Yes, you do. And I will tell you, if you have a child, it's something you probably would never know to do. That is amazing. Again, I'm not going to tell you right now. Got to reach out to him, because we don't have time to go into it. But it's something every parent that has a child needs to know, that you think I've got this base covered. I've got this. We're good. But you shared information, and we were like, oh, wow. So,
yeah, that's the thing. I that's a really good point. A lot of times there are some people who feel like they got everything on lock, financially, and they have all the knowledge they need. And there are a very small percentage of people that do, right? And that's a great thing. But I say it's always be open to new information, especially when it comes to finance, right? You should always be open, because the financial world is always changing. There's always new things that are happening. So while you might be good, there's still some information that can make you even better, right? And then also having more than one advisor that you communicate with. I wouldn't advise anyone to only have one financial advisor, right? I think it's important to have two. You need to have somebody watching your money that's watching them watching your money. You get what I'm saying? Like, always. How many times have you heard of people had one person that they trusted with all of their money, and then that was the same person that
you should never trust somebody with something that you work so hard for and that is so precious. Let me ask you this: if you could give somebody who wants to go into financial planning, like what a tip for success? Tell me, give a tips for success
in finance. Yeah, sure. One of the most ironic things I think about it is that you can't be in it for the money. There's an opportunity to make a tremendous amount of money, really have a really good salary, but you cannot get into it for the money. It will spit you out. The industry will just totally spit you out and recognize that you're there for the wrong reasons. Because a lot of times in the beginning, you're going to go through your trials and errors. You're going to be learning, how to be successful. And, it's going to take you some time to really get yourself established. So your heart has to be in the right place if you really want to be successful at this and you want to do a long term. So I think that that's really, really important to have, is that mentality of, I'm here for a service. It has to be service based when you get into this industry. I think that's a very important piece.
Right. Well, you're the kind of person I would want to work with because you are of service. And I know that, working with somebody with a good heart who is of service will do a good service for your clients. So I think the future is bright in the world of financial planning. Mr. Muhktar Raqib.
It is. And I think we just have to we do need more Black financial advisors. We need more advisors in general to get into this industry because there's not a lot of us in it. It's not a lot. Right. And we're the number one consumers in the world. So it makes sense, right? If you the number one consumers in the world and you have the least people advising you on your money. That's
crazy.
It goes hand in hand, right? So again, and then like I said, if you really want to get into it, I think you have to study what it is and see if it's the right fit for you. If it's something that you have a service to help others, like if that's the forefront of what you want to do, then finance is a great place to start.
Awesome. Well, listen, I appreciate you. So thank you so much for coming on my show today. And we're going to definitely put you out there and put your business out there. And again, you guys, you can find him on social media. You can visit our website, indiestyletv.com, to learn more from Mr. Muhktar Raqib. So thank you so much for being a guest on my show. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you. Oh my gosh, so much wonderful information. And he is a go-to person and a hard worker and just a good heart, as you could hear. So I want you guys to definitely reach out to him on his social media. And you can also find his information on indiestyletv.com. So I want you to stay tuned for our Indie Spotlight Artist of the Week. Hope you've enjoyed our show. And until next time, I am Leah DeVon. You be well.
That's what you told yourself, 7 days a week. I've done it now, can't go back. Repeats in her mind, just like a dream. Sometimes it feels like it's the end, and that your whole world is falling down, completely apart, but it'll shine again. She made a choice to finally fall, but love let her down, and now she won't let anybody else in. No love's allowed. A frustrated heart can break, but it only takes 1 minute to realize that everything will be okay. If you only get one shot at love, hold on, don't give up. better than you realize.